So when we are looking at access to water from a female lens, the main critical issues that we want to question as journalists or as the media are issues to do with proximity, issues to do with access, issues to do with availability, issues to do with acceptability, and issues to do with accessibility. To say as a woman, iseduzane yini impompi. As a woman, ngivuka sikhathi bani ngiseyalayinela amanzi. As a woman, what challenges do I face on my way going to fetch water? Right, so when we look at that, we then come to realize that mainly women become more like victims of this whole scenario. And because yithi esihamba ama long distances, yithi esithwala ama 20 liters, I really see ubaba bethwele ama 20 liters emakhaya. Typical. Bafake ezimoteni, bafuqa amabhara. And I don't know how far true. If you all remember, I think it was a period like 2006 to 2008. Amanzi by that time ahamba kakhulu emakhandeni. I remember ukuthi ahamba for something like 3 consecutive months. Amanzi engabuyi. So I remember this other day we were just talking with umntwana wami. Then I was asking you, what you know when are you at your potential? By the time you grade 6, but then she stopped growing further. So we were just laughing and she was saying, remember 2006, so it has a lot of adverse effects on women. Not only that, but even health-wise. You look at pregnant women, right? If you read deeper on that, you will then realize it affects child mortality. Abantwana abaningi baba affected khona phana besesiswini. Then begcine develop ama ailments, begcine kusiba lama stillbirth, lama issues la yathumezela ipicture yamanzi ayikhaya. And I was saying no, but you cannot use this water. And she was saying no, at least abuyi. So if you hear umuntu saying at least abuyi, it means they have great plans for that particular water, right? It means they are either going to boil and put our own at your fridge. Then our pega, in most instances, as people we tend to say, no, water for cooking salsa will boil either way. So another way you brown no salayo, no boil this table, right? So such issues, I think we really need to critically look at them to say, yes, there is a water challenge. The city council is blaming ZESA. The city council is saying it's because of ZESA cards. While it is ZESA la yaphuma following day ifake disclaimer. But how is that affecting the Bloom men in overall? How is that affecting umama lwanothengisa emsikeni? Is her business able to go ahead or usechona ethayimela amanzi ngoba ezulethwa ngale phezulu awile? So we need to then get those voices, because sometimes the problem with getting women's voices is that women's voices are not your authoritative, strong voices, right? Because most women are not there in those offices, but your women are the women MCN. So maybe we need to recheck the sources that we use for some of our stories. Then we go to those women MCN and ask them, when there are disruptions when it comes to water, how does that basic Jack and Jill are the one who are mainly affected? So that's one key thing that I think as the media we need to try and look at. Then if you check, you will realize collectively women spend 200 million hours a day fetching water worldwide. 200 hours, 200 million hours is being spent. Women what? Fetching water, right? So it means there is a lot of time that's lost in terms of productivity. It means that person is losing time that they could be investing in nurturing their kids, in taking care of their home, then probably it means water challenges contribute to a divorce. I think they really contribute. Maybe we haven't looked at them in that lens, but it means pulling socks and go and look for water. The next thing we then hear of an increase in cases of divorce, an increase even in cases of gender-based violence, and some of the reason the men will tell you that the women are gays. You know, but then is there water? Is water available? Is water easily accessible? Is the woman able to go and tatamans? Or spend 3 hours a year, spend another 3 hours a pendulum? So we have to try and look at issues anjalo. Then, because we are talking about water, it means also issues said that for those people without toilets or in water crises, people spend over 97 billion hours searching for a place to defecate. 96 billion hours. You know, sihamba sisiyadinga. Unfortunately, khathesi amaganga amaningi anje sithi council siyawenza ama-scans. So I'm thinking of a situation like us, ePhelandaba West, akuselaga. Siphahlwe yiPhelandaba Old, siphahlwe yiPhumula East, ngapha kule Magwebo, ngale kule Phumula South. So I'm thinking ukuthi when people then go to try and find indawo yokuzinceda, what happens? It means people are going to have what? Are going to have challenges. And the more time you spend, it means you are then being exposed to cases of rape, for instance. You are exposed to cases of GBV. You are exposed to even amasela along the way. So when we are looking at this issue of the right to water, let's not only dwell on issues of ukuthi amanzi ayaphi empopini khathesi awaphumi, but let's also look at the underlying issues, the infringement on our other rights. Then at the end of the day, conjugal rights are also affected because I'm also tired. Can't be 100 liters. Energy energy. Right. So it then yields on a lot of things. It builds up to divorce, it builds up to gender-based violence, it builds up also to it divides in terms of the working women and the stay-at-home women. That is why we will always look at the stay-at-home women with a particular lens. That is why we will always say, no, but pulling songs, but do we then sit down to ask ourselves, probably it's a accumulation of issues, most of which build from the issue of access to water. Because abula manzi, umama are prioritize ukudinga amanzi okuflash toilet than ukudinga amanzi okugeza. So we need to look at fetching water. And not only that, for women, the right to water or issues to do with sanitation, they're about personal safety. It's about me. It's about personal safety. It's about hygiene. It's about my well-being. It's about my health. So it means if I spend 3 weeks without water, what happens for a girl on her menses? It means she is not able to do due diligence when she's bathing. It means even when she goes to school and comes back, it means a lot of hygiene things are not being taken care of. So we need to then ask ourselves, when communities say we have gone for a month without water, how is this affecting umntwana wesikolo ongu-Form 1 who has just started her menses? The people in the media to always bear in mind that wash issues or water and sanitation issues are critical against the elimination of violence against women and girls. Lack of access to water, lack of water unnecessarily exposes women to violence. Ungachecka esikhathini esiningi ntambama ngabantwana besikolo, your form 4s, your form 5s, your form 6 bafuqa amabhala bafuna ukuya kukha amanzi. Umuntu ongubaba can survive with 5 liters of water, but as a woman 5 liters of water ayingitshemisi. So at the end of the day I will go to go and fetch that water, and that exposes me to rape, that exposes me to ukuthethiswa, ukubanjwa, and all these other things. So we always need to view water from the lens of omama, from the eyes of omama, ukuthi khona affecta njani. As women, how are we affected? And at the end of the day, even when meetings come, when the city council is doing inquiries or whatever, the women voices are not there. Why? Because in most cases the women are shoved. So their voices are not heard. But to reiterate on what Mohammed was saying, sometimes we need to take that extra mile to try and dig deeper to say, yes, water is affecting, lack of water is affecting everyone, but how is Umntwana Form 1 who